Hey everyone, I'm Armor Gaming, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Team Shop update number 7. They really did update it. There is so much stuff in Team Shop right now. It's kind of overwhelming, but I am going to do my best in this video to give you guys what I think are the best monsters, the best cells, the best runes, what the best thing basically to purchase in Team Shop is. So I'm scrolling through right now just so you guys can see everything, and that's the end of it. So before I actually tell you guys what I think is worth getting, I have to start off by saying, and I've said this before in every single video, the number one monster you should buy or the number one item you should buy is whatever you need. Every single person has a different situation, a different circumstance, so everyone is different. There is no one right answer for everyone. If you need a light monster, buy a light monster. If you need a fire monster, buy a fire monster. You really should be buying whatever monster helps you be more successful in the game. And also, you should just buy whatever monster makes you the happiest. Even if a monster is expensive, but you really want it, why are you going to let people convince you not to buy that monster? Just go ahead and do it if it'll make you happy. But with all of that aside and all of that being said, the number one thing I think you should buy in Team Shop, and this is actually the reason why many people save their coins, is that you should buy runes. Trust me when I say that this is the absolute best time to get runes. We have speed runes, strength runes, we have life runes, and we even have gold runes. So the only ones missing are stamina. And I guess now the only question becomes, which rune do I buy? So generally speaking, you want to maximize your speed runes, so buy as many speed runes as you can, and after speed runes you should buy strength runes, and then life and gold, they aren't really needed. So the two runes you should focus on are speed runes and strength runes. And honestly, even if you buy a life rune or a gold rune, it doesn't matter too much because you can always use the 1-1-1 rune crafting method in order to change the color of the rune and potentially get a higher level rune. And then the question becomes, okay Armor, so I should buy a rune, what level should I get my rune? So this one also really differs on a player to player basis. So for example, if your rune tempo is only level 4 and you're barely gonna upgrade to level 5, you obviously don't really need to buy a level 9 rune. Probably good buying level 5 runes. Or if your rune tempo is level 7, but you do have enough money to upgrade all the way to level 9, then you might want to consider buying some level 9 runes. And this also depends on what kind of runes the enemies you tend to face in player versus player or in team wars have. If they have high level runes, you might want to think about purchasing some high level runes yourself. So we have a level 9 for 1.5k, we have a level 7 for 800, and we have a level 5 for 250. Now honestly, the level 9 for 1.5k, now I don't know if it's the price or something, but for me the price of a level 9 rune, 1.5k coins, that just seems so unappealing. I really like the price of the level 7 rune more, just 800. I can practically buy 2 level 7 runes with what I can buy 1 level 9 rune. But also take a look at the level 5 rune. The level 5 rune costs 250 coins. This is more or less the amount of coins you can get after one battle. So essentially for every team war battle, if you're successful and you win, you can probably pull around 250 coins. Some people might want to consider buying only level 5 runes, and that's actually what I'm going to do myself, and you're just going to see all my coins drop on this. And the reason you might want to buy a lot of level 5 runes, as you can see I was able to get 18, is because you can do the 1-1-1 rune crafting method. And if you don't know what the 1-1-1 rune crafting method is, I made a video, go ahead and click on this picture right here. And in this video I give a thorough explanation of what the method is and how it works, and basically it's just a way to efficiently get high level runes. So anyways, the way I see it is that I'm spending 1,000 coins in order to get 4 level 5 runes, and using the 1-1-1 rune crafting method, that means I can potentially get a level 6 rune. Keep in mind, there's a 25% chance that my rune will upgrade. So even in the worst case scenario, if 3 of my level 5 runes were to upgrade down, I would end up with 3 level 4 runes and a level 6 rune. Which for me, paying 1,000 coins for 3 level 4 and 1 level 6, I think that's a greater deal than paying 800 coins for 1 level 7 rune. But also keep in mind, the probability is just a probability. Some people are extremely unlucky, and maybe all of your runes will downgrade. But I think overall, at least for me, this is my preference. You don't have to agree with me. I think just buying a bunch of level 5 runes and just trying out the 1-1-1 rune crafting method over and over again, I think that'll yield the best results. You'll end up with a lot more runes than you would otherwise. So that's my advice to you. Buy runes, buy a bunch of level 5 runes, but if you don't agree with that, go ahead and get a level 7 or a level 9 rune, whatever best fits your taste. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it's whatever you think you need to be more successful in the game. But now that we're done talking about runes, let's talk about cells. So Social Point introduced cells, and let's start off with these. In order to buy one cell, they cost 20 for Reptie, 15 for Tao and Plethodon, and I think the only reason you would actually want to buy a cell is so that you can start requesting them from your teammates. So if you don't have any Reptie cells, go ahead and buy one, and hopefully your teammates can do the rest and just donate a bunch of cells to you. And here we have groups of 10, which is a cheaper value, but just take a look at General Darmith, Uria, and Shannara. A group of 10 cells costs 150 coins, right? If you wanted to get 100 cells, that would cost 1.5k coins. Let's scroll on over to the right over here, past all these runes, keep going. Here we have Shannara, Uria, and Darmith for only 800 coins. So I really don't see a reason to be buying groups of 10 cells when you can buy them at a lower value. However, I think the reason Social Point did this is because if you were to buy General Darmith right now, keep in mind, first you have to hatch them, and then you have to feed them, which means spending 2.2 million food, which takes a while depending what level you're at. So I think that's the reason they're actually giving cells, and they cost more. It's kind of convenience. But for most players, I think we're better off just farming for gold and then planting a lot of food if we want to extract and rank up our monsters. So in my opinion, there is no reason to be buying these cells right here. It's way too expensive. But again, if you already have a good amount of Darmouth cells and you just need an extra 10 cells to help you out, then it is a good value. But for the most part, you would not want to spend 1.5 thousand coins in order to get any of these monsters. And scrolling on, we also have General Alces, Holter, and Reptie, and again, the same logic applies. Moving on a little more to the right, we have General Nishant, Atum's pet, Nishant's pet, Darmith's pet, Atum's pet. Okay, I want to talk about this really quickly again. And you see Atum's pet, 250 coins for 10 cells, when you can just buy him straight out for 1.1k coins. In order to get these 100 cells, it would cost you 2.5k. That's even more expensive than when he was first released. So do not even bother with these cells. And scrolling on more, we have General Thetys. Her price actually went up. She used to cost 800 coins and now she's 1.1 thousand coins, which really sucks for a lot of players. And if you notice, it says she expires in 3 days 14 hours, so once she's removed from Team Shop, she'll probably be gone. And honestly, I don't know when she'll be back. I don't think anyone except the developers will know when she comes back. Even though she costs 1.1k coins, if you don't have her, I do recommend buying her right away. General Thetys is a monster you don't want to be without. She's extremely helpful for Team Wars, she's extremely helpful for PvP, she's just an overall really good monster. So just to repeat myself really quickly before I move on to the main attraction of this Team Shop, the number one thing I think you should buy are runes. Specifically, you should buy speed runes and then strength runes. And me personally, I think it's a greater value if you buy the level 5 runes, just because they cost so little and then you can use the 1-1-1 rune crafting method. After runes, we scroll on to the right, and all these monsters, Nishant, Holter, Alces, I still don't think they're worth buying. They're going to be worth buying when they drop to 800 coins. So I'm hoping next month General Nishant drops to 800 because I want another one of him. But right now, these are the 3 monsters that cost. But right now, there are 4 monsters that cost 800. It's General Uria, General Darmith, General Atum, and General Ingvar. And of these 4 monsters, I think the best monster to buy would be General Atum. And he's been in Team Shop costing 800 coins for a while. So maybe, just maybe, next time he comes to Team Shop, they might increase his price up to 1.1k coins. I really don't know, it's just speculation. So I would recommend that you purchase General Atum, but before you purchase him, make sure to get your hands on some runes because the runes will only be there for 3 more days. So after you get runes, get General Atum, and then honestly, General Ingvar is a really good light monster, perfect for Team Wars. He has stamina regeneration, life regeneration, he removes negative effects. Aside from that, he has a skill called Discouragement, which makes the enemy weak to special and light attacks. He also has Blinding Wings, Dazing Wings. Together, the enemy will lose 75% accuracy. Such a really good monster, extremely tanky, hard to kill. I recommend General Ingvar for Team Wars. And to the left of General Atum, we have General Darmith, who I consider to be one of the top fire monsters in the game. He has a skill called Dragon Berserker, which gives him 2x damage as well as allows him to ignore 50% of damage. And in previous videos, I think I've messed up. In previous videos, I've said that his ability, Dragon Berserker, is almost the same as him having 50% extra life, but that's not true. His Dragon Berserker skill is essentially the same thing as him having double life. So if you think about it, if General Darmith had 1000 life, an attack would only take out 500, which means in order to kill General Darmith, you would need to attack him with a 2000 damage attack. So his Dragon Berserker skill is essentially a double life skill, and it's also a 2 times damage skill. An extremely good monster with a really good speed. I highly recommend you get General Darmith if you are lacking in the fire category. Now to the left of General Darmith, we have General Uria. And it's important to keep in mind that General Uria is in the Thunder category, so he is completely outclassed by monsters like Voltic and Zyla, but that's not to say he isn't good. He has some pretty good stats all around, higher than average for Thunder monsters, and not to mention his skills are pretty darn powerful. He has a 65 damage 1 cooldown skill that happens to be special based and not Thunder based. So in Team Wars, if you ever find yourself facing off against an enemy Voltic, and you happen to immobilize that Voltic, Uria has the power to potentially one-hit that Voltic. So don't count him out just because he isn't Voltic and because he isn't Zyla. And it turns out General Shannara is also 800 coins. I'm sorry I missed her. She's an extremely good magic attacker. And I say this because she has a power of 3454, which is extremely high for magic monsters. And she also has a 45 damage AoE skill, which is great. It's also magic based. And if you ever find yourself facing off against an enemy Timerion who does cooldowns activated, don't worry because she also has a 0 cooldown stun skill. So you can potentially stun the enemy's attacker and thus giving you an extra turn to win the game. and thus giving you an extra turn. To potentially win the game. So don't count out General Shannara either. She can serve a purpose, and now that she costs 800 coins, it would also be a good idea to get her if you're lacking in the magic category. But from all these monsters, my number one recommendation would be to get General Atum, followed by Ingvar or Darmith depending who you need, and then Uria and Shannara. While there may be better options to pick from, keep in mind that these monsters, because in the team shop they can be easily ranked, so they can easily outclass some of the other monsters. And then we're gonna be skipping the epics because you can basically buy those at your discretion. Again, Alces, Holter, Nishant, wait for them to cost 800 coins. Maybe General Alces will drop to 800 next month. Who knows, we can only hope. Again, since I'm scrolling over runes, make sure you buy some runes. That is the most important thing you can do. You have 3 days, go get some runes. We're also going to be ignoring cells because they don't really appear to be worth it. So maybe in the future Social Point will make them cost cheaper. Although I should mention that what I do like about cells, it's almost as if you can basically donate some of your war coins to your teammates just in terms of monster cells. So that is kind of cool, and I do hope they continue offering cells in future team shops. Anyways, Atum's pet and Darmith's pet, they're not really that good. They're both attackers, and if you know anything about Monster Legends, attackers don't really do that well in the game. Deny monsters are really the ones that stand out. And again, looking at General Thetys, although she costs 1.1k coins, she's also a monster worth getting. However, she's only worth getting if you don't have her yet. Before you buy General Atum or any of the other generals, even though she's 300 coins more than she used to be, I do recommend you get your hands on her. And that moves us over to the newest monster in Team Shop, Nishant's pet. Creepy as hell, but General Nishant wouldn't have him any other way. Even the darkest creatures like Lilisha shiver a little when this pet flaps its wings near them. Nishant's pet is an extremely good monster. Let me just tell you guys right now, Nishant's pet is an extremely good monster. This is currently the best pet out of all the generals to be released. Although I hate to say it, the other pets have been quite disappointing, but Nishant's pet has been the complete opposite. So first of all, his speed is really good, 3465, that is what all the top dark deny monsters have, and his trait is immune to possession, which is kind of odd considering all the other generals and their pets tended to have tough, you know, negative 35% accuracy to all negative effects, but instead Nishant's pet has immune to possession, which is actually pretty good considering you have monsters like Mommy and monsters like Lily who have possession skills. So for that reason, it's quite a good trait, and this also makes him viable to use against magic monsters, you know, Galante, Violet, all of those monsters that have possession skills. And what's even cooler about this monster are his skills. So he has a lot of skills that deal 2 effects. He has one called Infernal Rabies that gives slow and daze. He has one called Gloomy Doom, which gives debilitating shadows and nightmares to all enemies. If you don't know what debilitating shadows does, it basically makes dark attacks 80% stronger, so it's analogous to Tephra's Sticky Lava. And aside from that, this monster also comes with a 2 cooldown single possession skill as well as an AoE possession skill. And if that's not enough, he has a 4 turn cooldown skill that gives possession, nightmares, and it gives one of your allies double damage. Now I'm hoping that's a mistake on the description and he actually gives the monster that he possesses double damage, because then that would be extremely deadly. So this monster appears to be a master of possession, and then that debilitating shadows is just such a good skill. And if that doesn't impress you, he also has a Daze and Blind skill, which as you know is a negative 75% accuracy. This can almost be classified as an immobilizing skill because a monster with negative 75% accuracy, good luck landing your deny skill, especially in AoE. AoE already has 90% accuracy, so minus 75%, and I can pretty much guarantee you that the enemy is going to be missing its AoE skill. Now I do have to add one final thought about Gloomy Doom. It's the skill that gives debilitating shadows that's an AoE. So I think at first glance a lot of people might go crazy because they see this and they're like, oh my gosh, it's such a powerful monster. But one thing to keep in mind is that all of Nishant's dark attack, Shadow Yell, Soul Piercer, Flesh Piercer, and Gloomy Doom, all of them deal 0 damage except for Flesh Piercer, which actually does 40 damage. Meaning in Team Wars, where you will probably only have one dark monster, unless for your rarity you're able to choose a dark epic, Gloomy Doom won't really be coming in handy in war. The only other circumstance I can think that it will come in handy in war is if your last element is legendary, in which case you can use Nishant's pet, Gloomy Doom, and then a dark legendary monster that has a 45 damage AoE dark skill. Other than that, I really don't see Gloomy Doom being that usable in war. As for his other skills, let me remind you, he has 2 possession skills and an AoE possession, but I also want you to keep in mind that lots of dark monsters with his exact same speed are also immune to possession. I'm talking about monsters like Will, monsters like Mommy, monsters like Glitch. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you're thinking about this monster for Team Wars. Now in terms of player versus player, I really do think this monster is one of the most deadly monsters to ever be released. Like I said before, he's the best pet to be released. So thank you Social Point for giving us a pet that is worthy of being the general's pet. And now to answer the question that I know is on everyone's mind, is Nishant's pet worth it? Is it worth spending 2.2k coins to buy this amazing monster? The answer I'm going to give you guys is no. In my opinion, no monster is worth that. No monster is worth that price. That is way too expensive. especially considering if we just scroll over to the right, we see Atum's pet and Darmith's pet for half the price. Which means if we wait a couple months, 2, maybe 3 months, we can anticipate seeing Nishant's pet costing half the price, maybe even less. I imagine eventually all the pets will cost 800 coins, just like the generals. If you're new to the game, the generals used to cost 2.2k coins when they were first released, and look at them now. All the generals cost 1.1 thousand coins or less. So I'm gonna leave you with some parting words. Is Nishant's pet a good monster? The answer is hell yeah. Is he worth buying for 2.2k coins? That's something you have to decide on your own. For me personally, I don't think any monster is worth 2.2k coins. I don't care if Timerion, Frostbite, Voltic, Barbatos, I don't care if they went in Team Shop for 2.2k coins, I would not buy any of them. So in my opinion, no monster is worth 2.2k coins, but again, that's something you guys have to decide for yourselves. With that being said guys, I hope you enjoyed this Team Shop update number 7. Let me know what you thought about the video, let me know who you're gonna buy, let me know if you're actually gonna buy Nishant's pet or not, let me know how many runes you purchased, and everyone, I hope you have a great day. Remember to dream big and pursue your passions.